The ranch finally has a new leader. But what if the person holding the power is the very reason everything begins to fall apart? A hidden truth about Bula's decision could change how everyone sees Rob Will. And if that secret comes out, the future of Dutton Ranch may never be the same again. What happens next could be the most explosive turning point of the entire season. For years, Dutton Ranch has survived because there were people willing to carry the weight of difficult decisions. Even when conflicts erupted and tensions reached dangerous levels, there was always someone standing between the ranch and complete disaster. That stability is now hanging by a thread. The moment Bula named Rob Will as her successor, everything changed. At first glance, the announcement seemed like a victory. Rob had spent years chasing authority, demanding recognition, and insisting that he deserved a larger role. From his perspective, this was the moment he had been waiting for. Finally, he had the title. Finally, he had the power. Finally, he had the chance to prove everyone wrong. But the atmosphere surrounding the announcement felt different. Instead of celebration, there was uncertainty. Instead of confidence, there was concern. The people closest to the ranch did not react like they were witnessing the beginning of a bright future. They reacted like they were watching something dangerous unfold. That reaction matters. The trailer strongly suggests that Rob enters this new position believing he has already won. And that mindset could become his greatest weakness. Throughout the season, Rob has repeatedly shown confidence. The problem is that confidence alone does not create leadership. Leadership requires patience. It requires trust. Most importantly, it requires responsibility. Those are qualities that many characters still question when it comes to Rob. As episode 9 approaches, the consequences of that doubt may become impossible to ignore. The people working at the ranch have spent years observing Rob's behavior. They know how he reacts under pressure. They know how quickly he becomes defensive when challenged. They know how often he places blame on others when things go wrong. Now imagine what happens when someone with those habits suddenly gains authority over everyone else. The trailer appears to hint that Rob will begin making decisions immediately. Instead of carefully learning from the experienced people around him, he may try to establish control through dramatic changes. From his perspective, those changes could look like strength. To everyone else, they may look like recklessness. Meanwhile, Waken remains one of the most important pieces of this story. His removal from the center of power creates a dangerous vacuum. For years, he acted as a stabilizing force. Even people who disagreed with him often respected his commitment to protecting the ranch. Now he finds himself watching events unfold from the sidelines. That position may be even more painful than direct conflict. Imagine seeing problems before they happen and being unable to stop them. Imagine watching someone make mistakes while knowing exactly how those mistakes will end. That frustration could become one of the most emotional storylines moving forward. At the same time, Bula's condition hangs over everything. Her collapse shocked everyone. It reminded viewers that leadership transitions rarely happen under ideal circumstances. If her health continues to decline, the ranch could lose one of the few people capable of keeping the growing conflict under control, and that raises a terrifying possibility. What if the people who once protected the ranch are no longer in a position to do so? If that happens, Rob will face challenges unlike anything he has experienced before. And judging by the trailer, those challenges may arrive sooner than anyone expects. Because sometimes the most dangerous moment is not when someone gains power. It's when they believe power makes them untouchable, and that realization may be waiting just around the corner. One of the most overlooked details in the entire storyline is not Rob's promotion. It's the reason behind it. Many viewers focused on the outcome of Bula's announcement. But the real mystery may be hidden inside her motivation. The transcript strongly suggests that Bula did not choose Rob because she fully trusted him. Instead, there are signs that fear played a role in her decision. That changes everything. If true, it means the entire leadership transition is built on a foundation of pressure rather than confidence. It means the victory Rob celebrates may not actually be a victory at all. Think about how different those two realities are. In one version of the story, Rob earns the position because he deserves it. In the other version, he receives it because Bula fears what might happen if she refuses. Those are completely different narratives, and the difference matters because perception controls power. Right now, most people inside the ranch appear to believe Bula freely chose her successor. They do not know every conversation that happened behind closed doors. They do not understand the emotional pressure surrounding the decision. They only see the final result. But what happens if the truth comes out? The answer could reshape every relationship on the ranch. Suddenly, Rob would no longer appear to be the rightful heir. Instead, some people might begin viewing him as someone who forced events in his favor. Even if certain details remain unclear, suspicion alone could be enough to damage his credibility. The trailer seems to hint that trust will become one of the biggest themes moving forward. Trust cannot be demanded. Trust cannot be inherited. Trust must be earned. And that creates a serious problem for Rob. Because even after gaining authority, many people still do not trust him. That hidden tension exists beneath almost every scene. The workers know his history. The ranch members know his mistakes. The people around him remember previous conflicts. Those memories do not disappear simply because a title changes. In fact, a title often magnifies them. Every decision Rob makes now carries greater consequences. Every mistake becomes more visible. Every disagreement becomes more dangerous. Another overlooked detail involves Waken. Many viewers see him as Rob's rival, but the deeper story may be something entirely different. Waken is not just competing for power. He represents an alternative future for the ranch. His absence allows viewers to compare two leadership styles. One relies on patience, the other relies on control. One seeks stability, the other seeks validation. That contrast appears intentional. The writers seem determined to explore what happens when ambition finally gets everything it wants. And that question becomes even more fascinating when combined with Bula's secret motivation. If she truly acted out of fear, then the ranch may be heading toward a crisis that nobody fully understands yet. Because hidden truths rarely stay hidden forever. Eventually someone asks questions. Eventually someone discovers evidence. Eventually someone tells the wrong person. And when that happens, the fallout can be devastating. The trailer may only show brief moments, but those moments suggest a much larger story unfolding beneath the surface. A story about power, a story about trust, and a story about a secret that could change everything. Now let's talk about the theories that could shape Episode 9. None of these possibilities are confirmed, but several clues make them worth discussing. The first theory is that Rob's greatest enemy will not be Waken. It will be his own success. That might sound strange, but success often creates overconfidence. After spending years fighting for recognition, Rob may begin believing that his victory proves he was right all along. If that happens, he could stop listening to advice from experienced people around him. This could mean that mistakes begin piling up quickly. At first, they may seem minor. A poor decision here, a disagreement there, a risky choice that appears manageable, but problems rarely remain small for long. One bad decision can trigger another. One conflict can create 3 more. And before anyone realizes what is happening, the ranch could be facing a crisis. Another theory involves Waken's future role. It is possible that his removal from power is temporary rather than permanent. Stories often place important characters on the sidelines before bringing them back during a critical moment. If the ranch begins struggling under Rob's leadership, many people may start looking toward Waken for answers. That could create a fascinating dynamic. Waken may have the knowledge to help, but helping might also strengthen the very system that pushed him aside. Would he intervene? Would he stay silent? Would he return only after things become impossible to ignore? Those questions remain unanswered. A third theory focuses on Everett. The transcript repeatedly positions him near major turning points. He understands Bula better than almost anyone else. He witnessed critical events. He may possess information that others do not. This could mean Everett becomes the bridge between the past and the future. If secrets surrounding Bula's decision start emerging, Everett might be one of the few people capable of explaining what really happened. And if that happens, Rob could face a challenge he never expected. Not a challenge to his authority, a challenge to his legitimacy. Those are very different things. Authority gives someone power. Legitimacy gives people a reason to follow. Without legitimacy, authority becomes fragile. Perhaps the biggest theory involves the eventual revelation of the truth. The story appears to be building toward a moment when hidden motivations are exposed. Whether that happens in episode 9 or later remains uncertain. But the clues continue pointing in that direction. If the truth emerges, alliances could shift overnight.